Yeah, I'm Philippe Zdar, and this is the studio. It's called a Motorbase Recording Studio right now, and it's the place where we did the Phoenix album. It was a lot less refurbished at the start because they spent 1 year and a half here, and it was a real mess, and now it's finished. We finished it to mix the album.
And what are we going to be doing today?
I'm going to show you. We're going to open a bit of the session of the album of Wolfgang Amadeus Phoenix, and perhaps start with 1901. Writing the songs with Phoenix on this album was very much of gluing and sticking stuff together. You know, recording on lots of different per recorders, guitar recorders, like 10 of them, I think. And we were always first they were all without me at the start for like a few months, and after I came more and more, not very officially, but more and more officially. And then we always recorded like we always play together and record a little per recorder and think, oh, this could be good with this one. Oh, this could be great with this. And after it was more like a big puzzle.
So is that a new way for working for you?
No, it's not a new way of working for me because I'm very bad. For my band, for example, with Cassius, we're doing the same. And there's a lot of bands doing this. I think now it's a great way of working when you don't have somebody like, for example, a John Lennon in the band who comes with everything written in his room. A band like Phoenix they are writing, the four of them are writing the song. So it's a typical way from the 90s, I think, even from the 80s and the 70s. When the band is like, has done a few free albums and they want to have something different or being surprised, they go into a studio, they start to jam, they record the jam, they listen, and they say, ah, this part is great. I read lately that it was exactly the same with lots of bands. Like I realized last time that Super Freak was done this way. They jammed for 46 minutes, and there was 8 bars at 23 minutes. And Rick James, he said, I love those 8 bars. And they put them together for 3 minutes. And so it's an old way of working, in fact, but it's getting more and more typical. When I start a mix, it means that we are very happy with the. I never go into mixing a track if I'm not very happy with the. If we are not happy with the Phoenix, it's the same. They are completely obsessed with. We go to mix when it's really the end because mixing is time consuming and it's very hard for the nerves because you always have to keep your balance and cold blood. So I guess when we go into a mixing part, it means that we've done a lot of production before, or even if it was not a lot, it means that we are happy. I always start to make a quick balance of the whole thing, opening Nick on the desk, seeing what's happening, getting to the very high parts, and trying to get from the very high parts the maximum part, so that everything after will be down because obviously we are always very loud. So I'm always starting with putting everything together and putting a lot of my gear, lots of equalizer, compressors, and insert on the desk.
So do you usually know like for drums, you start setting up the inserts with your favorite bits of kit?
Yes. It takes a long time. The setup is very long. In front, for example, of a digital setup where you can have always always this. But me, I like this because it's always like a surprise, and also the long time I spend plugging with my assistant, saying him, okay, on the kick, I'm gonna put this and this. All this long time makes you get into the song. I like this. It's some kind of way of an artificial way of taking my time, because I could go very fast or else, and sometimes when you go too fast, it's. So usually, I use a lot of outboard gear because I love this desk, but I love those EQs, but more in the mediums, more the highs and the bass are great, but I need more stuff. I need the Massenburg, for example, which is my favorite a very great EQ. The Naves are great EQs, and the Pultecs, they are great EQs. And I'll try to blend them all together. So, for example, if you have a bass, for the chirurgical, very low bass, I will use this. I will use a little bit of this because the bass is more something magical. And I will use a bit of Pultec too. And at the end, I will compress it usually in this one, which is one of my favorites for bass and for kick, the Neve 33609. And in the end, perhaps you're not gonna put the whole way through on this one. You're gonna put a little bit bass on this, a little bit bass on this, a little bit there, and at the end you will have something really tough. Because the way I mix is I want lots of bass. It's the school from the hip hop. There was no problem at all mixing this track because the Phoenix, they are very good producers, and we spend a lot of time doing it. And for this track, we wanted to achieve what AC/DC is achieving always: a very, very simple, effective, big sound with a mix with Billie Jean from Michael Jackson. So it's two worlds colliding for us. And with the typical guitar from Phoenix. And so this is not the mix, this is I just open like this. So if I would start the mix now, I will do that. Checking where the vocals is because I don't have the label. So doing a quick balance like this, for example. Perhaps more guitars. I saw them. And then from now, I would start to EQ with the outboard gear to make it more and more big.
So when you were recording, did you do as well?
No, we recorded a lot with all the Neumann's and telephone can preamps and compressors. So there was a little bit of compressing and no EQs at all. Because I tend to not EQ too much when we record, because if we EQ too much, you're a bit trapped with your sound at the end. You don't know. It can be great, but at the same time, I prefer to have all the abilities in the mixing.
So saying that, the drums are really tight recorded.
Yeah.
Was it in that corner of the live room that you see?
Yeah, we recorded the drums there, and we sampled them in fact. And Thomas, the drummer, played the drum. We recorded them, we sampled them, and Thomas, the guitar player, the singer is an old drummer, did the beats like a digital beat, like the Timbaland. That's what we wanted. We wanted the album to be modern, and the drums is the big way of the modernity of an album, I think, for me. So here, for example, you have here some real drums that we did on top of it, to blend it together. So at the end you have what my image and their image of the Phoenix. We wanted to have like a robot playing drums. So it's like a human drummer, but still with the feeling of techno music or house music or R&B, modern music. So at the end you have a typical rock album, but with technologies and the way of doing it of Timbaland or the Nerds. Or
What processing and EQ was involved to make those drums sound? Did you, after it reprogrammed them,
Wait, yeah.
did you make it sound robotic?
Yeah, because me, I come from the techno, I want to have an enormous kick. I really like the big kick and in front of everything. So it pushed the compressor of the whole mix. So I put a compressor at the end, which is this one, my favorite compressor for the whole mix. And so the big kick is going to be enormous, but at the same time it's going to pump everything. So the music is going to, even if it's slight, you can hear it. And so you can also manage to make it big or less big if you compress more. And all the music is going to become very, very, very live because of this. Because of course, if we sample the drums, if we don't do any processing or tricks, it will be like a robot for real, and we will lose our feeling. So it's gonna be like, and us we want like if someone is playing. So there's another thing we're doing always, and this is from the start of the mix, is to I put all the eyes and everything into an SSL compressor which has a sidechain. A sidechain is it's a way you bring something into a key, so it's going to compress the sound. The key is going to compress the sound, but you're never going to hear it. So in the case of this track, for example, I put the kick and the snare in the key. I'm not sure people are going to follow me, but here you are. And so, for example, the compressor, if I put a sound, a synthesizer into the sound, and it's going to compress it, it's going to do like, and it's going to come back. If I put the kick inside and the key of the compressor, and I put the same synthesizer, it's going to do like, or the contrary, in fact. So it's going to pump, it's going to bring life. So if you do this with the hi-hats and the cymbals, which they're going to sound like this, and then I put the kick and the snare inside, it's going to be like, so this is a good way of gluing all your thing together. We call it the mouillette with the Phoenix. La mouillette, mouille is wet, so we could say it's a funny way of doing the wetty, whatever. So we call it the wetty, and because it's going to bring the all together, and the drums can be crispy like a Michael Jackson, like I said, but played with like a robot. So you will have the two worlds going to collide. Yeah, the vocals are up front, and there's not too many processing. It's typical, like any sound engineer in the world will do. Since the 60s, people compress. So I used the third one I have, which is a fantastic compressor, which is a copy of the best compressor ever, which is the Fairchild 600. Yeah, 70 is the stereo, and 660 is the mono. So it's 3660. The two first one are glued together to be a stereo one. The third one is a copy. So it's an English guy called Tim De Paravicini, and it's fantastic compressor. They were done in 1983. It's the good way to have like a Fairchild, but if you don't have the money to have the Fairchild, it's still expensive. But Fairchild is hard to maintain. Those are good to maintain. So there's a lot of processing. There's not too much processing. It's typical. I always use this EQs on the vocals. I don't know why they're so magic. It's the way that they choose the frequencies. You know, at this time, the Neve, they were choosing, I don't know, when they put eyes, when you put eyes, it's very magic, and the bass are great. It's the contrary, not the contrary, but this one you can choose every frequency you want, the Massenburg, and this one, the frequencies and the, I don't know how you call that in English.
The cue.
The shelf, yeah, the cue are fixed. The guys who did this, they were thinking at this time, okay, the guitars, the mediums is incredible. So anyway, this I love on vocals, so I always put Thomas vocals into this. And there was something else. Sometimes the Ure, but I keep it for the snare. So this one was magical on Thomas vocals too. So at the end we were finishing, nearly all the vocals were very easy to do. It's the Neve, the Fairchild, I mean the ear, and then an old reverb from EMT, which is what I call with the Phoenix is very important because they don't like reverbs on vocals. Me, I love. I think reverbs, it's so important because even if the album looks very dry, there's a lot of reverb because the reverb is the way of doing the sound going in front, because you can go on the side with this, of course, but when you did this, you just go on the side, your reverb, your album gonna be like this, so you need to go also there. When I was starting, I always look at American and English records, and I said, oh, can they do this? It goes on the side and it goes in front. So the reverb is the most important. You put very, very small reverbs that you don't hear, but it's going to make a difference. Medium reverbs and long reverbs. And the empty reverb is the invisible reverb. It's the one you put it on the vocals and the band is still happy. I'm waiting for the vocal. So this reverb, as I tell you, they never complain, because if I put another reverb, it's gonna be really heard, and I know with them, they're my friends, the Phoenix, and they will say, oh, there's too much reverb. But I tell the guys to start the mixing, I tell them to be careful, because you hear a lot of reverb in the studio, but it goes away after. So never take it out too much. It's important to have some vocals. So this is the very dry vocal. Not I'm gonna compress here. I'm gonna put a little bit of EQ. I filter a lot. That's why I love this desk. There's filters everywhere.
So what, you filtered out low?
In fact, I filter everything. I filter low and I filter high, because if I do this, I don't know if it's how it's gonna be. If I put a lot of highs, it can be really harsh. So I'm gonna filter also the highs. But at the same time, inside the music, at the same time, it goes well in the music. So you can filter. That's the great thing about this desk, is that you can filter all the bass, and you can filter also the highs. There's lots of time, if you find my mix at the end, all the filters are open, nearly. It's a good way of not changing what you've done the first time, but just if you made a mistake, to arrange the mistake. So the reverb is this one. So it's not invisible at all. But we have the sound without. I show you for the kids, for example. It's 20 seconds till the last call. So it doesn't really make a big difference, but it's very important. It makes a big difference. If I take it out, it sounds dull. Like this, it's very dry.
You use this reverb on drums and snares?
Yeah.
Similar kind of idea then?
Yeah, similar kind of idea. I use reverb on everything, nearly. But I use them, like I said, with the Phoenix when we did the first album. I told them I'm trying to sculpt. How do you say sculpting? Is it sculpting? Yeah. If you take a rock. Yeah, I try to sculpt into the reverb. At the end of a track, what I think is that when you start a song, you have the magic feeling. And it's not going to stay too long. So you just do fast your balance. Just do your EQs fast. Do everything fast. And after that, you go into the details, because the magic is not magic. It's just that you have the depth to see things from far. So you're gonna. I don't know if you're musicians, but if tomorrow you do a song, you're gonna do the good balance. The first one is gonna be the great balance. You always, all your life is gonna look after the first balance, because from the moment you've done your balance, you're already old on the song. The song is already old for you. So this is important, to get this philosophy, to find the balance you love, and then after you put some reverbs to make it more like a record. Me, I love to say that. I'm trying to make like a record with lots of highs, lots of bass, and so after that you put 3 different kind of reverbs, I could say. Small ones, medium ones, and long ones, which is normal. And you're gonna try stuff and make some happy accident, like put a reverb on something that was not supposed to. And it depends of the bands, you know. If you, I'm sure if you work tomorrow with Pink Floyd, there's 30 seconds long reverbs. With the Phoenix, we all love the very tight sounds of Stevie Wonder. So there's gonna be very small reverbs, but all added together, they're gonna make your album is gonna sound large. Basically, when you mix, you'll have EQs, compressors, and effects. So to make it sound all well together, I don't know. You have perhaps to image what you want. For me, the synth was Malcolm Young in AC/DC. Is the rhythm player, which is like the backbone. Is it the backbone? Like so your synth, where is it? Yeah. So it's very stereo because we recorded. It's two sounds mono. I don't make it stereo. It's a bit like AC/DC again, but with a sound.
So did you create the synth sound to try and get it to fit the record, or just get a sound?
No, we got a sound, and after everything, because this was from the start of the song. So after you, and you have more sound. I think it's the trident, chord trident. You see, you have more. This you have to put some reverb. See, and it already sounds a lot better. Reverb.
And what's in this?
This is the Korg, I think. I don't remember. The way we recorded is that we do a lot and we never know at the end who has done and what was used. All I remember is the CSAT because I know the sounds, Trident. And we managed, the Phoenix, they really wanted to have like very, very cheap instrument too. So there's very, very cheap Yamaha's kids synthesizer that's gonna sit. See, I should have probably used this reverb on the mix. It's a lot better. I was sure it was a bad idea for me to do that because I will think it's a lot better. So the idea is that, as I told you, like AC/DC, Michael Jackson, lo-fi, hi-fi, cheap, expensive. I hate record, well mixed, well sing, well machin, with the best instrument. If the sounds are shit, it's still gonna be horrible. So we really wanted to mix all this together, the lo-fi and the hi-fi. So everything, there's lots of things which are completely lo-fi, and they're gonna go very well with the things which are very hi-fi. So this sound, as I tell you, we start from this. To make it big, we made it stereo, a real stereo, which is 1 and 1. Very open, not completely open, which you be careful when you mix, because if you open everything on the sides, you're stacking stuff together. So always remember to open a little bit less here, open perhaps less. The pannings are one of the key of the. Sometimes I will spend hours, not hours, but minutes to try, because you're gonna move it from there to there, and it's gonna find its place in the mix. You don't want to put everything on stereo because you're just stacking and you're losing completely the effect of the stereo. So this particular sound, I'm gonna do the same as usual. Put a lot of bass on it with this time with the Pultex. I remember the ones up, which are not lumps, not with tubes, but transistor. Very, very direct, like a puncher, but more like a Northern Ireland boxer than a New York guy, you know, like very, that comes like this. And after compressed, I remember, and I didn't put anything on it. I probably put a little bit of an effect, slightly like H910, which is an old, how do you say that? Harmonizer. Yeah. An old harmonizer from Eventide. And that was it, because in fact, as it's stereo, it's very hard to make it more stereo. And this is very important. This sound was very important because it was the Malcolm Young. So for us, it was important that it be strong. After, if this is going to take all the place, you will have to make place. You know, the mixing is make place for something. If you put lots of bass somewhere, just take out some bass somewhere else, because it's electricity, and if you put too much electricity, it's never. Imagine a mix like, how do you call this? If you want to fill a bottle of something, you use this.
Funnel, yeah.
A what?
Funnel.
A funnel. Imagine a mixing as a funnel. You have all this, but you want it to finish here, which is going to go here. I always imagine in my life mixing as a funnel. So if I put like hundreds of bass on everything, it's going to be like this, and it's never going to get into the little thing of the funnel. That's why the as I told you, the filter is so important for me because if you listen to reggae music, where the best mix is happening, I think, in the world since years and years, or if you listen to jungle, or if you listen to drum and bass or thing like this, you will hear like big like, and everything is cut. There's no more bass. All the bass goes onto the kick, and the reggae, all the bass goes into the bass. And if you listen to one guitar of Bob Marley alone, it's gonna be like. But if you don't filter it, there's going to be lots of bass in the guitars, and this bass is going to mess up with your bass. So I think for this, to have this big synth sound, you have to take out lots of bass somewhere else.
Did you have to do recording the bass? Did you have to record it twice for the drums? You play the drums the first time, bass player plays, and then edit the drums, make it like a robot, and then he had to play again to lock it really tight? Or
No, because in this case,
to click?
No. In this case, it's the thing started with the robot drums, and then Dex doing the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And after, on this track, there's also a real bass. So on this track, you see, it's not typical. It happens sometimes. You have this synthesizer bass, okay? But you also, not now because it's the intro, to make it like good, you have a real bass, which finally is doing it. The same. Everybody is doing the same on this one. I told you it's like AC/DC. So he's gonna do the synthesizer first and the bass after. There's not too many tracks that were made like as a full band, because something which is special in this album is the writing process was completely linked to the production process. So you write, you never know what's gonna happen. There was no songs like play on guitar at night and said, oh, let's do this tomorrow, the whole of us, because it would have never happened. We could have played, they could have played like 3 seconds. But we don't know what's gonna happen after. So if I make, Deck is gonna hate me, but the bass is not bad, but there's some parts where normally we could have spent 2 hours to take it out. No, it's horrible. Or this. I don't know where, but there's a synthesizer which is completely out of tune. And then it's gonna come up, I think. If you take it out or if you make it in tune, it's gonna lose the thing. So there's some editing, but there's a lot of flows that are left.
Wait, is it edited into loops as well at points?
Some tracks, yeah, there's some loop.
Kind of like
Yeah. It could be. It's long loops.
yeah.
See? You take out the beat, take out this. The synthesizer. It's completely out of tune. But inside the track, you don't hear it too much. And the small typical Phoenix guitars, always. And sounds that you will never hear.
Is that the little cheap Yamaha keyboard then?
Yeah. And this one too. You can listen to it because it's looping inside himself. Completely guitars played like a kid of 6 years old. And that's why I love those guys, and I love them because they're fantastic, and it's a great band. But I also love them because they don't care about not care, but we're always trying to make some music which is which could have been done by a son of one of the nobody has a son, but from a young bands, completely new, like taking things like cheap instrument and getting the kick out of the thing. And I love this. I'm not too much.
Well, the actual overall sound of the album is quite big and slick.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it's kind of the balance between that.
Exactly,
isn't it?
exactly. We want it to be like a record too. Still, we are both all obsessed by Jealous Guy or Michael Jackson or Metallica first album. Or we're obsessed by great bands, great albums. So we're not gonna do like a horrible at the end production, but it's the mass of those little details of little flows, happy accident, whatever you call them, and greatly played or greatly songs that it's gonna collide. I'm for extremes.
In that sense, did you use tape at all at any point?
Yeah,
in this
we
record?
use the tape always for the mixing, for the end, always.
Also to stereo.
Yeah,
stereo
to stereo, yeah.
Okay.
I always
did you hit it quite hard?
Yeah, I mean, I don't show you because I can't because it's not the mix. But there was a guy, fantastic guy. We call him Maître Guy, which is the last great engineer of maintenance engineer in France. One of the last of them. He's fantastic. He's been working in all the great studios in France. He knows everything. And we call him Maître Guy because he came a lot with the Phoenix. And when he arrived in the room and he saw me mixing, and these two never, they like this, even when the drums take out, they're doing like this. And then at the end, and he looked at this and he said, "Oh, what's happening? He really thought it was a problem in the desk. But yeah, we hit it hard. I hit hard the desk to the limit, exact limit, because I'm always looking to the limit of saturation. And then when I found the limit of saturation, I take it down a little. And the same with the tape. So it's a long process to record with the tape because I'm going to look until the tape is exploding. It's not going to explode physically, but it's like... And then I take it just a little bit slide down. It's not to make it loud, like just to make it loud. It's just because it's going to glue things together. The tape is it's putting a lot of hiss that we love with Phoenix. We don't want it to be out. And it's also compressing, and it's also for centuries. You know, your master is not at 44.1 because in 2028 there will be I don't know 200 kilohertz converters, and what you come with your master at 44.1, it's gonna stay 44.1 in your life. This is 200. I don't know. I'm bad at electronics, but it's like 200 kilos or whatever it is. It's like a microphone. So in 2028, we'll come with the Phoenix album. We'll give it to the new masterizer who has the new thing, and it's going to be like high fidelity. So there's a lots of good things to put it on tape. What?
As long as the tapes haven't all stuck together.
Yeah, but you put it in the oven. No, we go to the exchange in London, and Mike is my like a brother. He knows how to put the tapes in the oven, I'm sure. I never asked him. Not old enough. I will be on the Riviera this time.
Cool. Should we